The NFLPA just released their report cards for all 32 teams, dining, head coach, ownership, treatment, facility conditions. And we need to break it down because there are some teams that are, number one, not living up to a lot of standards that some other teams are, but number two, are going to put on a really bad public image for a lot of free agents who are going to be looking for new homes in 2-3 weeks. Let's get into this report card, guys. This is absolutely insane. As always, if you're new, my name is Max. I make daily football content. If you enjoy this type of stuff, make sure to subscribe and join the family so you don't miss any videos, any breaking news, as well as any breakdowns that we're going to have throughout the offseason. Here is the NFLPA team report. It was roughly 77% of players across the NFL participated in this study. One of our core jobs as a union is to improve the overall working conditions for our players, which includes the daily experience of players at the team facility away from the lights and the cameras. 1,695 of our players provided information to share with one another about the current club, not only to help them make important career decisions like we just talked about with free agency, but to also help raise standards across the league. Let's see the best teams in terms of treatment of facilities. Number one, the Minnesota Vikings. You're going to see the Vikings, the Dolphins, very high in a lot of these regards, even the Raiders in a lot of these regards. They got Dallas Cowboys at number 4, Atlanta Falcons at 2, Seattle Seahawks 5, Titans, Panthers. But we got to look at the lower bowl. That's what we got to look at, the ones at the bottom. The bottom 5 teams as it relates to treatment of facilities. Oh, man. Oh, I knew it was going to be here. The Cleveland Browns, the 5th worst treatment of facilities. The Arizona Cardinals, oddly enough. The Los Angeles Rams. Wow. Jacksonville Jaguars an F, and the Cincinnati Bengals an F. How do you even get an F minus? The Bengals have an F minus. Food and dining area. The top 5 teams, the Miami Dolphins, the Houston Texans, Las Vegas Raiders again, San Francisco 49ers, and the Atlanta Falcons. I think people are going to like the Atlanta Falcons a lot. We'll scroll down this list a little bit more. The Browns at a C minus, just outside the bottom 5. But look at this. Arizona again. The Jets, the Bucks, the Saints, and the Bengals, dude. Nobody likes the Bengals, at least how they're treating the facilities and the dining area. And looking at some of these teams with like the cap space, I mean, the Bengals have a good amount of cap space they can work with. New England is still in the bottom 10. If players are going to see this and say, ooh, I don't know how bad I want to be there, they're in the bottom 10 there. Nutritionist, dietitian, again, I'm sure it's some of the same teams at the top, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Falcons, the Texans. People love those 4 teams, and I get it, right? You scroll down the list, you got some of the other middle teams here. Bottom 5 as it relates to nutrition and dietitian. Look who's last again. The Cincinnati Bengals. The Giants are second to last. The Steelers are third to last. The Commanders 4th to last. Very interesting note about the Commanders, though. They were dead last year in terms of the overall ranking. Overall ranking this year, I think they jumped up to 11th, if I'm not mistaken. They jumped up 20 spots in this ranking. It's the Dan Quinn effect. And then you got the Philadelphia Eagles, oddly enough, B- dietitian and nutrition. Locker room. I saw the Bengals towards the top. They literally just got a brand new locker room, so I understand why. Vikings, Falcons, Dolphins, Chargers. Wow, so the Chargers, I'm curious. Chargers have an A in locker room. Where are the Rams? C+? Oh, man, interesting. Because, it's obviously they play in the same stadium. The facilities are different, but, you assume similar resources will be invested into each of the locker rooms. I don't think there should be that big of a disparity. Chiefs locker room, not great. Commanders locker room, not great. Look at the Browns. F minus. F minus for the Browns. F minus for the Cardinals. This is a horrible look for them. Look at Denver. F in the locker room, not good. Training room. Miami Dolphins, the Las Vegas Raiders, Chargers, Vikings, and Packers. Again, let's see, Chargers A minus, Rams B, so not as far off. Then scrolling down, the Browns, second to last, D+. The Patriots C minus. Very interesting note. They got a lot of cap space. Pittsburgh Steelers, a lot of cap space too. C+ in the training room. Training staff at the bottom. Look who's dead last. The Cleveland Browns. Arizona Cardinals, it's second to last. Cowboys, Jets, Chiefs, and Bills, all with C for the training staff. The teams that like their training staff, again, Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, Los Angeles Chargers. Oddly enough, look at the Bengals up there. You got the Raiders, the Falcons, the Panthers, Texans. Again, people like the training staff there. The weight room, Miami, Atlanta, Chargers, Raiders, Packers. Browns in the top 10 for weight room, which is good to know. At least they're partially excelling in something. Scrolling down the bottom 5 weight rooms: Patriots, Cardinals, Chiefs, Rams, Steelers. Not good, guys. A lot of cap space for this team. A lot of cap space for the Patriots. Let's look at strength coaches bottom 5. Pittsburgh Steelers in dead last. You got the Jets and the Broncos in the bottom. Arizona at the bottom again. Scrolling back up: Miami, Minnesota, Washington, Vegas, and the Chargers. Chargers got a new strength coach. He's awesome. Team travel: top 5, Dolphins, Raiders, Vikings, Commanders, Saints, interestingly enough. Look at this, though. I saw this, right? The Buffalo Bills, F-. F- for team travel. Patriots, not good. Eagles, not good. Browns, not good. Here's the big ones, though, guys. Head coach. Now, I do want to break this down a little bit for you guys. Here's the grading scale. This is how it's weighted, right, in terms of the overall score and how they are compared to each other in the top 32. Head coach: 6 coaches got A+. Dan Quinn, Raheem Morris, Kevin O'Connell, Andy Reid, Dan Campbell, and Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel got an A+. People love Jonathan Gannon. People love Mike Tomlin. People love Zach Taylor. And then people love Kyle Shanahan. Colts, Rams, everybody pretty much got an A in the top half, and then you get down to the A-. I do wonder if this Raiders number, if that's Pete Carroll or if that's somebody else. I guess we'll wait to see. Antonio Pierce maybe. But the bottom, guys, 3 teams with C's, and I can only assume this C was for Doug Peterson. I can only assume this C was for Matt Eberflus. Kevin Stefanski, still in office. Technically, an active coach is the lowest graded active head coach. That is a bad look. That is a really, really bad look. The New Orleans Saints, and this is Dennis Allen. Like you guys can see, the bottom 5 teams, Harbaugh with a B, but a B is not a horrible grade. Bottom 5 teams, 2 of the 5 currently have their head coaches the same. Like the Browns still have Kevin Stefanski, and the Ravens still have Harbaugh in terms of the bottom 10. Like Ulbrich/Saleh gone, Mayo gone, Sean Payton's still there, Sean McDermott's still there. Let's go to ownership, guys. The Miami Dolphins, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Atlanta Falcons are the only A+ ownership teams. I haven't looked at the bottom of ownership, but I can only assume the Bengals are in the bottom 5. They are, just look at that. They're not even in the bottom 5. Wow. Okay. Look who's last in ownership. The New York Jets. Oh, man. The Carolina Panthers being down there does not shock me. This does shock me, though. The Patriots and the Steelers, both D's, the bottom 5, rounding out the bottom 5 in ownership. That does surprise me. You got Tampa down there. Interesting. Chiefs in a C- as well. Obviously, we know people don't like the Bengals ownership. Rams, interesting enough, too. C+ for the Browns ownership. Not sure how I feel about that. Head coaches and ownership combos. Are there any bad combos for the Bucks? Interesting. Well, B+ is not a bad combo. B and an F for the Jets, though, and that was Ulbrich/Saleh. C and C+ for the Browns. That's not a good combo. C and B+ for the Jags. But again, new head coach, new GM, that can probably change. I am curious before we end this to see what the Giants are looking like in terms of coach and ownership. Coach, Giants, B+ for Brian Daboll. And then ownership for the Giants, C+ for John Mara. So right in the middle, actually technically below the middle. But that is what the report card looks like, guys. Again, this is the grading scale people were asked in terms of what they think, how they feel. 77% of players participated. This is how it was weighted. You multiply it out. And again, the owner and head coach are obviously the most important parts. Owner carries 15% of the overall grade. But that is what it looks like. Let me know how your team, I guess, fared in this little exercise or debate in the comments. And as always, if you're new, you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. It helps me out a ton, as well as lets me know you enjoy this type of content. We will see you guys for the next video. God bless.